evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, January 5, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. U.S. $35 million contract signed for modern 4-lane Wismer Bridge in Linden. President Ali announces Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados ferry service. Government creating opportunities for population to grow wealth, says President Ali. Construction of houses in Silica City to start this year, says Minister CROAL. And man dies in Plantation Walk fire. Now for the news in detail. The Guyana government has signed the contract for a new 4-lane bridge at Wismer in Linden, Region 10. In our lead story tonight, Vanu Manikchand reports that this bridge will serve as a critical link in the road network that is being built out with the aim of making Guyana a transport and logistics hub for the region.
On Friday morning, the contract was signed for the construction of the U.S. $35 million Wismer Bridge across the Demerara River in Region 10. President Dr. Irfan Ali, who witnessed the inking of the agreement and participated in the sod-turning ceremony in Linden, highlighted the important role this infrastructure will play for Guyana.
This bridge is not a standalone infrastructure, and this is where we have to understand the policy frame. This bridge is linked to the 45 bridges we're doing along the Linden-Lethem Highway that will create immense opportunity in positioning Region 10 as an engineering and mechanical hub and a transport and logistics hub, not only for mining, but also for the trade that would exist between Brazil and Guyana and CARICOM.
The head of state went on to note too that this new bridge is also a significant link in Region 10, which is undergoing massive developments due to investments made by the PPPC government over the past 3 years and considering future plans, especially for Linden.
The vehicle traversing this bridge, the number of times vehicle traverse the bridge, was 768,000. Right? In 2020. Today, we have more than 1.5 million, 1.5 million crossing. Almost doubling the crossing from 2020 to now. What is the reason for that? It is because something is happening. Something positive is happening. Positive change is taking place. Investment is creating wealth. Wealth is creating opportunity. Opportunity is creating improvement. Improvement is creating prosperity.
The new Wismer Bridge will be built by China Railway and Construction Corporation Limited with a 2-year deadline. Public Works Minister Juan Egil disclosed that this bridge was initially a U.S. $30 million 2-lane structure.
The previous government proposed for the building of a 2-lane bridge across the Wismer-Linden area. Today, we are building a 4-lane bridge. And let me say this, the reason why we are building a 4-lane bridge is not just to say that we did better than the previous government. That's not in our agenda. The reason why we are building a 4-lane bridge is the PPPC administration led by President Ali has grown the economy, has expanded our possibilities, and the demand has moved from beyond a 2-lane to a 4-lane.
Back in 2023, Guyana signed a historic U.S. $150 million loan with the Saudi Fund for Development to finance a number of transformational and infrastructural projects in the country, including the construction of the 4-lane Wismer Bridge. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
President Dr. Irfaan Ali today announced that Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago have agreed to the establishment of a joint ferry company. Regional leaders have long recognized that affordable intra-regional travel remains one of the major bugbears to trade and movement of skilled labor within the Caribbean. Consequently, they have been working on a regional ferry network. In 2022, the Caribbean community had approached the United Arab Emirates for funding to establish this intra-regional ferry service. At the time, the Caribbean Development Bank was tasked with ironing out a proposed roadmap study for a fast ferry service with an initial focus on trade between Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and Barbados. According to President Ali, the establishment of the ferry service between Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad will open up tremendous opportunities for regional movement. Let's have a look.
Yesterday, got Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Barbados has formed the first company, has formed a joint company that would work to the introduction of a ferry system for passenger and cargo between Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Barbados. That will open up massive opportunities.
Noting that the policies and programs being implemented by his government are ultimately aimed at wealth creation and growth for every Guyanese, President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Thursday evening fired back at propagandist messaging and highlighted the various ways in which the strategies rolled out by his administration within the last 3 years have transformed communities and positively impacted the lives of almost every citizen. Here are the details from Luanda McAllister.
The purpose of government is to invest and create the opportunity so that the population can grow wealth.
President Dr. Irfaan Ali addressing the nation via live broadcast on Facebook on Thursday evening.
We are creating a resilient approach to managing our financing, a careful and considerate approach to ensure that our recurrent expenditure does not become bloated, and to ensure that the capital investment itself is adding value and creating value to the population in general.
Referencing the recent road network in the new diamond housing scheme on the east bank of Demerara, President Ali highlighted how the investments in the area have significantly increased the net present and future value of lands and properties there.
Let's look at the roads that we have done in Diamond, the new diamond housing scheme. Over the last 3 years, because of the infrastructure investment you are making in these communities, the net present value, I'm not even calculating the future value, the net present value of some of these properties would have increased by 25, 30%. Some as much as 50%. Some areas more than 100%. So what does this mean for the ordinary man? You have a public servant who would benefit from the 6.5% increase this year. The total increase from a 2020 base is more than 24% over the last number of years. That public servant with a 6.5%, maybe at a low scale, increase might take home in a net effect to $250,000. But when you look at that person owning a low-income home that would have cost $6.5 million, and because of the investment in housing and investment in infrastructure, the net value of that house now becomes $10 million. You're talking now about an increase in value immediately within 1 year of $4 million. From a salary perspective, that would take you 20 years to accumulate. So wealth is not only built in salaries, wealth is built on how the net effect of the impact of policies and programs
As a result, he outlined that individuals' personal wealth increases, and as such, they can capitalize on this to further boost their wealth through investments. President Ali explained that this is just a microscopic examination of the impact of government's policies and programs on someone's lives, and noted that when all the other initiatives are taken into consideration, the benefits are tremendous.
When you take the initiative of the grant for the dialysis, when you look at the grant for people living with disability, when you look at the investment in the healthcare system, when you look at the grant for the school children, all of this is removing a direct expenditure from your income pool, which makes more income, more disposable income available for you.
LaWanda McAllister reporting for the Evening News.
The year began on a high note for approximately 250 allottees who were able to identify their lots and now can begin construction of their homes. Surveyors from the agency's Planning and Settlement Department led 200 people who had been assigned lots in non-pareil on a lot identification exercise earlier this week. Another 50 people who had been assigned home properties in enterprise were also guided through a similar process. Infrastructure construction totaling $12 billion is now underway in a number of projects along Demerara's east coast to ensure that allottees have full access to their properties. Plantation Hope, Plantation Enterprise, Non-Pareil, Good Hope, Lusignan Phase 1 and 2, Two Friends, Success, and Le Souvenir are all undergoing development works, upon completion of which around 5,000 families will be able to go on to the next stage of home ownership. Coming up, temporary bridge completed as works progressing on new Demerara Bridge and construction of houses in Silica City to start this year, says Minister CROAL. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
Mechanics, Sylvie's has all the equipment you need to make your job easier and your business profitable. Visit our 31 High and Hatfield Street store and choose from our wide array of shop presses, engine hoists, oil drain pans, parts washers, jack stands, bottle and floor jacks, hand tools, and much more. Can't make it to the store? Shop online at sylviesonline.com and have it delivered. Call or WhatsApp 623-7755 for more info.
To tell you about my mom and how I lost her, it was a very hard reality for me.
I met Crystal through a friend who asked me to speak to her. The first time I saw her, my spirit just took a liking to her. I see Crystal as my daughter. I haven't given birth to Crystal, but I feel as if I do.
I felt alone. I got that support I needed from her.
I understand that Crystal was a lesbian. I choose to accept and embrace and love everybody. I'm a Christian and I believe we are all God's children. God loves everyone.
There's a time we all get educated enough to know that, you know what, everybody is just the same human.
She never questioned it. She just supported me right through it.
So I see her as a young woman full of potential.
Crystal and every gay and lesbian person should be treated with respect in Guyana.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors OLE. If you will be 18 years or over by December 31st, 2023, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed. and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you are required to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Monday, 15 January 2024 is the last day on which you can apply for a transfer. For further information, contact GCOM at 225-0278-9 or visit our website at www.gcom.org.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A 47-year-old Venezuelan national this morning lost his life in a fire that started at around 3 hours 30 and destroyed his dwelling at Plantation Walk, West Bank, Demerara. Dead is Richard Lozada. The building was owned by Bernadette Gordon, who managed to escape the burning structure. 2 neighboring buildings were also destroyed in the blaze. An investigation has been launched into the cause of the fire. Kamesi Slow joins us now to report that works are advancing on the government's highly touted Silica City project on the Susdike-Linden Highway, with the construction of houses slated to commence this year. Here is more.
At the Housing Ministry's closing press conference for 2023, held recently, Subject Minister Colin CROAL disclosed that works are ongoing on the Silica City project, and soon the construction of homes will commence.
We have completed with the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission the survey for 3,100 plus acres of land, and this is part of the first phase. And also as part of the first phase, now we'll see the advancement or the movement for the construction of the first 100 houses or more, but we're starting off with that. The land preparation is complete. They have also completed the expression of interest, and so it's now at the stage where they're reviewing those persons who, the contractors who have expressed an interest for the construction of the houses.
Silica City is Guyana's first smart urban center located along the Susdike-Linden Highway. The first phase of the project will see an initial 400 young professional homes being constructed. In February, a $2.1 billion contract was inked to develop Silica City. It is envisioned that over the next 2 decades, this new city along the Linden-Susdike Highway will grow to hold more than 12,500 households. The new secondary city is intended to be one of the People's Progressive Party civic government's climate change mitigation strategies. Only in November 2023, it was announced that Guyana is working with the University of Miami to develop a master plan for Silica City.
The government of Guyana, we have partnered with the University of Miami to develop a comprehensive master plan for the Silica City. When I say comprehensive, will mean obviously an enlarged area where we, for example, on our draft plan right now, we have a total area looking at about 12,000 acres. All right, so work is ongoing in terms of the Silica City, but physical-wise, you've seen land clearance last year, but you'll see construction happening as part of this year's program.
I am Kamesi Slow, reporting for the evening news.
Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel and a team of officials yesterday afternoon conducted a site visit of the works ongoing on the new Demerara River Bridge, where a temporary bridge has been erected, and works are continuing to progress at a rapid pace on this new and modern piece of infrastructure in Guyana. Let's hear more details from Luanda McAllister.
Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgel on Thursday disclosed that a temporary bridge, which is in place for the swift completion of the 4-lane high-span New Demerara River Bridge, is 100% completed. He made the revelation during an inspection of ongoing works on the entire western section of the construction site of the New Demerara River Bridge. With the temporary bridge completed, the next phase of works includes installing platforms.
Where we are standing on here is where you will have the main tower that will link the 300-meter span from the western side to the eastern side. Each one of those towers will be supported by 38 piles. And those are the steel piles that you see formed there. Each one of those steel piles will take off about 500 cubic tons, cubic meters of concrete. And from the technical people's explanation, to give the average Guyanese who would like to know what that means, it's about 58 trucks of concrete.
The minister also disclosed that measures are being employed to ensure that the bridge is being built in accordance with international standards.
Our project engineer, Mr. Patrick Thompson, who's assisted by engineer Mr. Sadiq, and the consultant from Polytechnica, which is the consultancy firm that is supervising this project, traveled to China to inspect all the facilities where things are being fabricated before shipping. So it's one thing to examine materials when they arrive here in Guyana, and then you could say disagree. That would throw us way back in terms of time. So it is part of the contract, the consultant as well as the Ministry of Public Works, project engineer and assistant engineer traveled to China. I think they spent almost 2 weeks visiting every installation where the contractor proposes to procure items from to certify the quality of what we are getting.
The minister said that he was also assured that the project would be completed by the end of 2024, meeting the deadline. The US $260 million project is being undertaken by China Railway Construction. The new Demerara Bridge will replace the current structure across the river, which has exceeded its lifespan by some 40 years. It is expected that the new bridge will be a 4-lane fixed-span bridge with a lifespan of approximately 100 years. The bridge will land back Nandi Park on the east bank of Demerara and at La Grange, west bank Demerara. Reporting for the Evening News, Lawanda McAllister.
The Housing Ministry is at about 60% in realizing the government's plan to distribute 50,000 house lots by 2025. However, as we hear in this Andrew Carmichael report, the ministry has run out of available land in Region 6.
The government's projection of 50,000 house lot allocations during its first term in office is on track, according to Housing and Water Minister Colin CROAL. He related that since taking office in August 2020, almost 30,000 house lots have been allocated. Most of them were issued in Region 4 and 3, the two regions with the highest backlog. However, in Region 6, the focus is on developing new lands for the housing allocation drive, since all of the available land has been used up. As such, the Housing Ministry is now focusing its attention on the eastern part of the region, where land is available.
There is plan for development of a new housing scheme in Molson Creek. That's on the further part, closer to where a crossing should be for Suriname. So that will be part of the new development on Region 6. And you can't talk about development for housing without speaking about Palmyra development. And so work, you see infrastructure work by and large is ongoing. The construction of houses will commence very shortly. That's on the housing program. There's a lot of development for Palmyra, most likely probably the President will speak about that. But that area will be the NV for any living in proximity or even living in, because you'll have housing development, you already have hospitals, stadium, commercial activities, malls, etc. So it's a complete hybrid of both residential and commercial activities.
Meanwhile, the Housing Ministry is currently working on clearing the backlog of persons who have pending applications from 2019 and before. Housing and Water Minister Colin CROAL says this has to be matched with the availability of land.
So if you're somebody from region 6, let me just use that as an example, that's a waiting and then turn up, then they may not be able to be served immediately because, as I said, we're trying to prioritize and find additional lands here. If it's somebody in region 4, then that's very easy to match because that's where we have some availability. If it's region 2, we can match that. If it's region 10, we'll be working on that. So it has to be matched in terms of availability, but we are prioritizing 2019 and
Minister CROAL further added that some persons have had applications in the system for some time now, but those in regions 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, and regions 4, Demerara, Mahaica, would have most likely been offered an allocation at some point in time.
But sometimes people are offered and then obviously they don't like the area for one reason or the other, and then they turn down that offer, but then they don't necessarily say that they were offered. And then you will hear an exclamation mark that says, you know, that I'm awaiting. So a lot of, anytime you find generally 90s, early 2000s, they would have been offered at some point or the other.
At the Williamsburg, Hampshire housing scheme under quarantine, persons were allocated land for $300,000 per lot, while others were issued with house lots. 100 low-income house lots were also constructed at the scheme and sold for $5.2 million each. The majority of the houses have already been allocated. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, January 6, 2024 at midnight for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 12 hours 15 on Saturday, January 6, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Guyana set to host 6 matches, including semi-final for T20 World Cup, and Guyana set to compete in International Goodwill Basketball Tournament in Suriname. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil. A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Superbet, your best bet. Did you know that you have a chance to win up to 15 million with sport betting? Simply place your bets at www.superbet.gy for your chance to be the next lucky millionaire. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.